I'm Angela Price from Eden Condensed Small Space Garden Design, and today I'm going to show you how to take care of a tomato plant terrarium. Now, tomatoes are not really your traditional plant that you would grow in a terrarium, but it's a kind of a fun way to get the plant started indoors, and then you can bring them outside when they start to get too big for the container. So I want to put together just a terrarium here real quickly just to show you the different pieces of it. The bottom level should have some rocks in it, so I'm going to pour some of those in there. And that'll prevent the moisture when you water it from rotting out the soil, because that's really important, because you don't want your soil to be stinky and moldy, and it's not helpful to the plant. Then we're going to use some all-purpose organic potting soil, because eventually you'll want to eat these tomatoes, so it's important that you do keep them in organic potting soil, so that makes them good for you. And then you'll want to have a nice indentation where your seedling goes. Now this seedling is actually a little bit big for the jar, but we're going to pop that in there. And you'll see that the jar comes around, and what the terrarium does is it actually creates almost like a little ecosystem inside where it's going to keep the moisture in, it'll keep the warmth in, and it'll actually be good for germinating the plant and for growing it in its initial stages. If you need a little help kind of pushing it in, a pair of chopsticks is really good, and you can also use that to kind of push the soil up around the stem so that it's covered in. If your seedling is small enough, you can cover your terrarium with the lid of the jar. Sometimes I like to punch holes in it as well to get a little bit more air in. If you do have a lidded terrarium, you do want to take the lid off at least 2 to 3 times a week to let the air circulate in it, so that way the plant's getting enough oxygen. And then lastly, you do want to put it in bright light. You don't want to put it in direct sunlight, because then what will happen is that the terrarium becomes a little oven, and all you'll end up is one kind of cooked mass of tomato leaves. So keeping it in bright light, keeping it with minimal water, because it's going to, in a sense, water itself, keeping the soil and the plant off of the water that's in there by putting a layer of rocks or pebbles in. You can also use activated charcoal, works well. And then when the plant does start to outgrow the container, you can take it out and plant it in your garden, and within a couple of months you'll have tomatoes. If you have any other questions about how to care for a tomato terrarium or any other kind of terrarium, please contact me at www.edencondensed.com. Enjoy your garden.